Hey guys. Hi. Hi guys. Hi. It's Mandy Vaughn from Mandy Vaughn Knits. You can find me under that name on YouTube, Ravelry, and Instagram. And today I thought I was going to show up and we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So we all have Ravelry queues, and if you're anything like me, your Ravelry queue is kind of this big and getting longer. So I wanted to talk about 5 cardigans that I am just about dying to knit. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please stick around. I've got 5 cardigans, and one of them is free, by the way, just in case if that's interesting to you. But hi guys, this is Mandy Vaughn from Mandy Vaughn Knits. You can find me under that name on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube. And today I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit different. Well, it still involves knitting and it still involves yarn, but if you're anything like me, you probably have a Ravelry list about, this long and getting longer of things that you want to knit, patterns that you've seen on Instagram where you're just like, oh, and you add them to your queue, and then, it gets longer and longer and longer and longer. Well, today I'm here to talk to you about 5 cardigans that, my heart just wants to knit right now. So I will show you the pattern to the side of me over here, or well, we'll just go with over here, and I will display the sample photos included with the pattern on the pattern page as I'm talking about it. So I hope that this interests you, and if it does, please give this video a like and a subscribe or comment, so that way I know that you're interested in what I have to say about this. So the first pattern is the Grandpa Cardigan by Joji Locatelli. Now, I'm really big into cables. I think cables are a classic, pretty look, and I love the way that this cardigan has a great big button band, and there are cables. This cardigan is knit in DK. It says on the pattern page that it takes between 1,100 to 2,000 yards of a DK weight. It comes in an extra small to a 3X. Now, Joji has a huge size range with her patterns, so it says that it goes to a 60-inch bust, which is great. The timeless look for this cardigan is just incredible. To me, it seems like one of those cardigans that is just never going to go off trend, I guess you could say. So this has definitely been in my favorites for quite a while. Now, Joji Locatelli has a make-along coming, I believe it starts September 1st. The signups in her Ravelry group are from the August 15th to August 30th. So if this seems like one of those patterns that you'd really like to make, it would be a great time to grab it, because she has a coupon code in her Ravelry group and probably on her Instagram, so you can check it out there. I believe it's 25% off, so you should be able to grab this particular pattern and any of her self-published patterns at that 25% off discount if you use the code. If you pre-sign up with this pattern saying that you're going to make it, you can submit it to her knit along following the instructions that are in her group, and you have a chance to win some really cool prizes as well. I love participating in this knit along because Joji Locatelli is one of my favorite designers. I love the way that she does different aspects of her designs, including the shoulders. I have had this particular cardigan in my queue for such a long time, and I just got the pattern, so I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones I'm going to knit for her make-along, but we'll have to see, because I have a couple. I'm going to sign up with quite a bit of them and then decide at the last minute. Now, because this is cable, what I'm thinking about doing for the yarn for this particular cardigan is to take a semi-tonal. I have some Malabrigo, that's Arroyo Malabrigo, and it's on the books, it's DK, but people say that it's a lot lighter than that. I'm going to use it to knit this and probably knit, I would say, a large or an extra large depending on my gauge. I'll have to swatch for this one because it's cables and because there's so much work in this that I am definitely going to be swatching for this one just to make sure that it fits me the way that I need to. But overall, this is one of those cardigans that's probably going to last a very long time. It says that the pattern is knit in the round and it's fitted. One piece, these are the tags on the Ravelry page. It says one piece, seamless. It has a satin sleeve, a shawl collar. It has short rows, a V-neck. And it says that part of it is worked flat. So that's quite a bit. I don't anticipate it being super difficult. It will definitely be one that you have to concentrate on though. So if you're looking for something that might be a little bit of a brain teaser, I would definitely suggest this one. I've done numerous Joji Locatelli patterns, and like I said, she's my favorite designer. I haven't ran into anything that would give me trouble, and if I ever did, the first place that I would look would be her group. She's got a very active group on Ravelry, and there are tons of people out there on Instagram knitting her stuff, so I'm sure that if you need it, you could find some help. The second pattern that I'm going to talk to you about today is the Brioche Hug. This is a really adorable cardigan by Cozy Up Knits, and it is brioche, so that is why I have not knit it yet. It's not that I don't absolutely adore brioche, but whenever I knit brioche, I have to be all in because I'm just not that good at it. The problem with brioche isn't that I don't understand how to do it. It's that when I make a mistake, it's a big deal because I don't know how to fix it yet. So I've had this pattern in my Ravelry queue forever now, and I have the pattern and I have the yarn that I need to knit it. I'm going to be using a gray yarn, and then for the second yarn I am going to be using a gray and rainbow yarn. So if you know anything about brioche, it's basically a ribbing-ish fabric where the knits are one color and the purls are another color if you use two color brioche. But that's what I plan to do with my Cozy Up Knits Brioche Hug if I ever get guts enough to knit it. I'm hoping to sometime this winter, honestly. I've just kind of put it on the back burner because I know that with brioche it takes a long time to knit anything. If you've never knit brioche before, basically the gist of it, and this is very, very, very simplified because I only this much understand it myself. Basically, when you're doing brioche, you knit around and then you have to come back and rework that same round to advance. So it's basically double the knitting, but it's a beautiful fabric and I love the way it comes out. I've done brioche hats before, but they were in one color. So that's another reason why I'm kind of hesitant with this pattern, but I'm just going to have to, you know, buckle down and buckle up, Buttercup, because I really love the way that this looks. It's almost like a shrug that goes around you, but it's so soft. It looks so soft and so squishy, and the two colors are just absolutely beautiful. It's knit in DK, and it says that the yardage is between 700 and 1200 yards. The sizes available are all adult sizes. 18 stitches and 19 rows equal 4 inches. Now with brioche, you have to be extra careful because your gauge can be way off from what you'd normally knit because you're using 2 yarns, and it's just the brioche itself is very stretchy. So I'm hoping this winter, like I said, I will bear down and just block off maybe a month and a half to just concentrate on this. I think after a month, I will be very comfortable with brioche, and it won't matter so much what else I'm doing, but I just really have to get to that point. Okay, so the next cardigan has been on my queue forever, and in fact, I just recently bought the pattern and I got the yarn wound into cakes. Not skeins, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I have the yarn wound into cakes. I am going to be using Malabrigo Arroyo, and I picked out the color fuchsia for this one. This is the Portage, and it's by Melissa. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry. It will be in the transition screen, and it says that it's published in Dandelion Girl Designs. But this cardigan is beautiful. It comes with a beautiful collar. It has these deep pockets that come out from the button band, and it has an all over one cable design. I've seen this pattern forever, and I've just looked at it and I've thought, you know what, I need to knit that, and it's finally going to happen. Right now I am working on the Pierre Pullover by Stephen West, and as soon as that's done, this is going on my needles. So I highly recommend it to everyone, of course. It is knit in DK weight. Now, one of the reasons that this took me a long time to cast on is because of the yarn requirements. It says that it needs between 1,700 and 2,975 yards. Now, even for me, even 1,700 yards is a lot, and it's not, I mean, it is a lot of yarn, but it's a lot of weight. Does that make sense? I do not like when sweaters are super heavy because it bothers both my back and my shoulders. And I mean, I'm a lot weaker than a normal person, so having a bunch of weight on my back is not something that I look for. But I think I finally decided that I'm going to try, and at the very least, if I decide I cannot wear it, I will gift it to somebody who can fit my size, which would probably be my sister. I know that she would love a fuchsia colored fuchsia colored cardigan as well. It says that the gauge on this is 20 stitches to 28 rows. So 20 stitches to 28 rows. Yeah, that is definitely standard for DK. It uses 3 different needle sizes, 3.75, 4.0, and 4.5. I'm guessing that the cable, the cable texture on the back uses one size, the ribbing uses another size, and stockinette uses another size. But I haven't completely looked at the pattern to say that's for sure. That's just a guess off the top of my head. I recently did a hat done by this designer, and it came out beautifully. It was done in Malabrigo Rios, and it was a purplish, it was actually done in Purple Mystery Malabrigo Rios, and it came out very lovely. I had no issues with that pattern, so I'm hoping that that will carry on for this one as well. So this pattern goes from 31 inches to 59-inch bust. That's a pretty good size range. Like I had said, I had gone through my Ravelry queue and I was looking at all of the cardigans, and I made sure to pick out 5 different ones that had a decent size range. I know that At least for me, whenever I'm working on a pattern, it's a bummer if something isn't in my size. And I know that sounds like a weird thing to say because I consider myself very short. So a lot of the patterns that you'd find I really have to modify to fit my body, and if it's just not an easy fix or it's not possible for me to modify, it can be a real bummer. And I definitely like to make sure that the patterns that I'm going to talk about can fit a wide range of sizes. So that's Portage by Dandelion Girl Design. I have this cardigan favorited. It is another one that is lace, and it looks like, nope, it is lace. The whole back of it is lace. It is called Syringa by Marie Amelie Designs. So this is a free pattern. It is written in English and French, and the finished bust circumference is 33.5 to 53 1/4 inches. So if within those ranges is what the pattern fits. Now the yardage that you need is between 1072 and 1783 yards. It's knit on a US 4 and a US 2.5, so 3.5 millimeter and 3.0 millimeters. The gauge is 25 stitches and 35 rows equal 4 inches, but that gauge is taken in garter stitch. So you're definitely going to want to be mindful when you're doing the lace, because sometimes you have to go down quite a bit to get the correct lace gauge that you need. And since it's not written on this pattern, that's just something you're going to want to keep in mind. But this cardigan is brilliant. The lace is all across the back, and it also has it across the front, but the main thing that stuck out to me for this was that it's free. Now, this is a free cardigan, and I've looked at this designer's collections that she has on Ravelry, and she has quite a bit of free fingering weight garments, sweaters or cardigans. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I love fingering weight garments, so I was really happy to stumble along Marie Amelie's designs. This cardigan is knit in fingering weight, and I have no clue what kind of yarn I'd use, but I'd probably pick just a standard sock yarn, merino nylon. That's generally what I tend towards. And since it's in lace, I would definitely stick with a solid color if I could, just so I could show off the lace. I can't wait to start this one, but it's definitely going to be one I have to pay attention to. So a lot of these cardigans you'll notice that a lot of them are involved. So that's why I'm dying to try them on or cast them on, but I haven't yet, because they take a little bit more brain space than I have at the minute. I've never done a pattern by this designer, so I can't say one way or another how easy they are, but it looks like the overall rating on Ravelry is 4.7 stars out of 5, which is great. And the clarity rating is 4.4. The average difficulty is about, I'd say 55%. So I guess looking at the cardigan, if you're an intermediate lace knitter, you could probably get it done. However, don't let me deter you if you are a beginner. I mean, just do it. It's just yarn. What's the worst that could happen? I've done some terrible things with yarn, and you want to know what happened when I was done with them? I ripped them right out and did it all over again. And you know what I learned from that experience? A ton. Doing something wrong the first time lets you learn more than you would have if you had done it right the first time. And I know that sounds silly, but think about it. Doing something wrong or knitting something and making a mistake somewhere will teach you what not to do and potentially how to fix that issue. So, like I said, knitting is an adventure, and If you feel like knitting a lace cardigan, go for it. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an expert or somewhere in between. The last cardigan that I'm going to talk to you about today is Beaufort by Isabel Kramer. Now, this pattern says it comes in 1 through 9 for sizes. And scrolling down, it looks like that's a finished bust circumference of 42.25 to 68.25. So that's a great range. Now, I love this cardigan because it's super lightweight and it looks like something I'd love to throw on with jeans. Now, it says it uses sport weight and the gauge is 21 stitches to 28 rows. That's pretty close to DK gauge. So depending on how I was feeling, I would either use fingering or let's just be honest, I would probably most definitely use fingering weight yarn for this. I would just make a swatch, decide based on my swatch and the number of stitches I'm getting per inch, how I'm going to modify the size that I need. So do I need to go up? Probably. And then once I figure out what size I'm casting on, I would just go for it. It looks like a pretty simple cardigan. There's a little bit of texture, but I love how the cardigan sits just open. Now, it says it uses between 1053 and 1810 yards. So that's pretty decent for a cardigan, and especially one that I could see wearing year-round. The bonus part about fingering weight is that in Michigan, you can get away with wearing fingering weight sweaters in the winter or in the summer. So, especially with the air conditioning, it gets really cold. And especially if you're in the freezer aisle at the grocery store, yeah, it's definitely worth it to have an extra layer or two. Of course, you could live in the southern hemisphere. You could live in a place where it gets really, really hot. So maybe fingering weight merino at least isn't something that you'd look to. But in that case, you could use a cotton or a linen. And those also have the bonus of being washable and dryable. So I would definitely knit this. I think that I could probably get away with it being TV knitting, but we'd have to see. Sometimes I get a little too easily confused with some of the textures going on. I have this in my library and I can't wait to cast it on. Hopefully I'll get to sometime this winter, like I said, and it will be a great springtime wear for next year. Since I'd probably use fingering, I should use like a hot pink for this one. I think it would be such a cute cardigan in like a light pink or a royal purple. Oh, I love purple. I love purple and pink, but I think my daughter would agree too. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed these 5 cardigans that I came up with. That would be great for me to sit down and knit, and hopefully you found a couple of patterns that you liked as well. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope if you like this content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can get notified next time I come out with a video. Thank you. Bye.